Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's me, Stephanie, and today we're going to paint this sweet little, just little mushroom scene out of watercolors. Before we get, of course, I have my drawing here. Just a simple little sketch to start. But yeah, before we get started, I'd like to invite you guys to, of course, subscribe to my channel if you enjoy being here. Comment, like, share all the things. And as always, I love to connect with you guys on my social platforms, my social media platforms. I am on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course here on YouTube at Stephanie Weiss Art. And so I'm just starting off with wet paint on dry paper with a little mix of permanent rose hue with the ultramarine to create this violet color. And then a layer above that of the Cerulean Blue. And so this is just a fun little, playful little painting. Nothing too serious here. I do have my moon kind of penciled out there, and I'm going to just paint around it. I am going to use white gouache to color in the moon and to create the speckles on my mushrooms. I'll do that here in a little bit. This is just a light initial layer. We are going to add a little more to deepen the sky colors here. Next I'm mixing Sap Green with a little bit of burnt umber, burnt sienna, to create the grass. And so I hope you guys are all having a good week. It's kind of been a very busy week for me personally. Lots going on. But something that's important to me is always making time for art. It's one of the reasons I really love watercolors as a medium, is because, you know, it's not very time consuming. You can work quickly, you can create something, and that's something that's very meaningful to me, just in my, I guess, I don't know, it's a sense of like, I'm very like accomplishment driven, if that makes sense. Like, not big accomplishments, but just like within my day. And making art is always something that makes me feel like I've accomplished something today. I made some art, I'm good. But it is hard, you know, lives are busy. I also work, I am a mom. So I've got like a whole family life and work life to take care of and maintain. So finding time for art is always a little bit of a precious kind of gift. Yeah, so I mixed a little bit of the, let's see, Cadmium Red Hue, and I just let that bleed a little bit with the grass color. And of course, this is my first layer of paint, and watercolor really does dry very lightly. But one thing that I'm kind of doing, it's of course sped up here, but is I'm drying my brush and pulling up paint to create some of the cloudy, glowy effect that I have going on here. And I'm going to add more and more to this. So this is just something I was playing with here, was this pulling up with the dry brush paint. Pulling up with the dry paintbrush technique to pull up some of that paint. See how that looked. And here I've mixed a little bit of the Ultramarine with that Cerulean Blue with a little bit of Payne's Gray just to deepen that blue sky color. I am going for a night sky. And I'm playing with how many layers I can add on to this paper without ruining it. And here I am with the dry brush pulling up the paint again to create the glowing, cloudy effect here. But if you are new to my channel, first of all, welcome. Thank you for being here. But I have mentioned many times before, but I am self-taught, and so a lot of the things you'll see on my channel are experimental. I really like to experiment and just try new things and see where it'll go. And I think that's a really important just thing in art as an artist, is to have a place where you can play and experiment a little bit. Sometimes we take things a little too seriously, especially in the art world. But so this is a little bit of the Cadmium Red Hue, and I'm just creating that first colorful layer of my mushrooms here. But yeah, that really is one of my intentions for this channel, is I do like to experiment. I do like to play. I do like to try new things. And I want to be a safe haven for that, for myself and for you and for anybody. You know, I feel like a lot of times you go to these art channels and they create these amazing pieces of art and it's kind of intimidating sometimes. And so I want to be somewhere that people are comfortable to just play and experiment, because I do believe creativity is, essential in all of our lives. We don't have to be brilliant, amazing artists, but I do think we all need a place to play and to express ourselves creatively. And I apologize if you heard my dog barking. Hopefully I cut that out. So yeah, just using the ultramarine blue here to further define the mushroom in the sky. And using the sap green to create more definition in my grass. I'm just using a little brush, and these are not super defined little grass strokes. This is more just, the implication of grass. This is not the final detail. So I went a little too far there, added a little bit of black to that, but it works out in the end. But you can see I really quickly had my paper towel and just sort of soaked that up super fast. And I eventually come back around and I'm able to correct this, but it's just a handy little tip when you have watercolor paintings or when you're painting in watercolors, is to just make sure you have paper towels handy so that you can quickly get in there and absorb any paint that was a mistake. Quickly being the key factor there. You have to work fast. So you'll probably see little mushrooms like this on my channel a lot. It's one of my favorite things to paint. I love these little magical Amanita Muscaria mushrooms. They're so cute. And they're just something that's very symbolic to me of magic. So I pay homage to them every once in a while through painting and art. I painted a mushroom in my last video, if you watched that, but I was using gouache paint, and so I thought, I'm going to try this in watercolor today and paint a different version of mushrooms for you guys. I have some really interesting videos for you coming up. I'm going to create a sort of a sunset, Milky Way sunset painting in watercolors. That's coming soon. It's sort of an homage to some of the older paintings that I've made. I tend to paint a lot of cosmic sort of space and night sky scenes, and so I really haven't done a whole lot of that in watercolor, so I'm gonna paint something like that for you guys coming soon. I've also painted a barn owl that I'm gonna share with you. I thought turned out pretty cute. But yeah, lots of things. If you have anything in particular you'd like me to paint, well, comment that below and I will do my best. So I'm just adding another darker layer to the sky here. This is a mix of the Cerulean Blue, the Ultramarine, and a little bit of Payne's Gray to create a darker night sky. And so I would love to have gone even darker for this night sky, but I didn't think my paper could take many more layers, so I kind of decided to stop with this. So I'm gonna dry my brush and I'm pulling up paint to create that sort of cloudy effect there, and deepening the purple shades. I'm going to deepen the orange shades too for a sweet sort of sunset kind of look here. So mixing the cadmium red with a little bit of the alizarin hue now, and again, just sort of deepening this mushroom. These mushrooms, making them pop a little bit more. This is a mix of Payne's Gray, Burnt Umber. Just adding a little bit of the shadow and the mushroom. So I added even more black to my grass shade here. And I think it was right around here where I realized I'm just going to paint the way that I know. So I'm adding black, and I'm going to add white gouache to the sap green later and sort of highlight that grass a little bit better. Another thing that I have mentioned many times on this channel is you're probably wondering, in fact, why are you painting watercolors, Stephanie, if you are normally painting acrylics? Because, like I've mentioned before on this channel, my background is acrylics. I learned to paint on acrylics. I feel fairly confident in what I'm doing with acrylics. And with acrylics, you paint dark to light. You add light. It's hard for me to wrap my brain around watercolors. So in a lot of ways, where you work light to dark, and so I am sort of learning with that. But what I think is, and here I'm just adding a little bit of this little lemon yellow right at the base of the grass to create the look of like a sunset here. But my goal when I paint is not necessarily to do it the right way or to get it, do it properly. I just want my finished painting to be something I like, something that I'm proud of. And so sometimes I change course and just do what I know, and so that when I do something that I'm not super happy with, I at least have the know-how to fix it and end up with a painting that I like. And so that's a lot of what you're witnessing on this channel, at least in these early recent videos that I've been making. I will eventually start showing you guys how to move in some acrylic tutorials. But I've just kind of really enjoyed watercolors lately, and I want to get better at them. So I'm just kind of messing with them a lot and sharing with you guys, I would say, the best of my experiments. I think they're good enough to share, and you know, unless your intent is to be a serious professional artist, you know, I feel like my videos serve the purpose of making art fun, making it relaxing. That's really my intention when I share these videos, is I want, yeah, like I've mentioned before, I just want to create a little safe haven for artists, for art, for creativity, for play. So I hope you enjoy that about this channel. I may not be the best technical teacher, but I can show you how to fix things. I can show you how to make something cute. All right, so my white gouache, getting that ready. And I'm going to use this for several things. I'm going to highlight my mushroom. I'm going to add my speckles onto my mushroom. I'm going to define the moon. And I'm going to add it to the sap green to create a highlighted highlights in my grass. So I'm starting with the moon here. Adding little speckles to my mushroom here. And what I like about the speckles on the mushroom is the less perfect these speckles are, the better. That's just a little tip there. Don't make them perfectly distributed or perfectly, you know, the same size or any of that. Just kind of clump them on. They'll look better. And I'm a firm believer in creating all of your own stars. I'm not a huge fan of like speckles, like where you just sort of shake your paintbrush and create stars that way. There's something magical in my mind about the fact that I have very personally placed each and every one of the stars in the sky. That sounds corny, but it's I don't know, it's meaningful to me that every part of a painting that I create, I have I have done it, you know, if that makes sense. Like my hand has been on it. And so, yeah, I mixed a little bit of the Sap Green here with the white gouache. So I'm just adding highlight to this grass here, which I think in the end really looks a lot better. And it really stands out against the dark background that I made there, which of course I think looks better, but and so this really is a very simple little painting to make. It's very cute. It's a cute little, you know, thing you can hang in your room. Put it in a, you know, any room. Make it into a card or something, whatever you want to do with it. A little bit more to the mushrooms, make them even brighter and more defined. I can't tell what I'm doing, but I kind of enhanced the stems here a little bit for these little mushrooms. My technique for making these stars is I kind of just bounce my hand around. I'll have to show you that my technique for this up close one day. It's really pretty. It makes it much easier, I think, to do this. But yeah, I'm pretty sure this is about done here. One last little bit on the moon. And I'm pretty sure that's it, folks. There you have it, your little mushroom sunset scene. I hope you've enjoyed watching this, painting along with me. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share this video. All right, I'll see you next time.